All right, let's turn back to trade because the U.S. and China have apparently reached the terms of a phase one trade deal. That's according to Bloomberg reporters who have learned that two sides have agreed, and it now awaits President Trump's approval. An announcement could come as soon as this afternoon. Joining us now from Washington with the latest, Bloomberg's Sean Donnan. Sean, give us an update. What do we know right now?
Well, right about now, Donald Trump is meeting with his key trade advisors in the White House, and he's looking at this deal and making a decision on whether to give it the thumbs up or thumbs down. I think we did get a signal from him this morning that he had reached that point where he wants to get this deal done. We should remember that if he does get this deal done, this gives him a really big week in terms of trade news. He got the Democrats earlier this week to sign off on his new NAFTA, the USMCA. If he then comes out with this deal to close out the week, that would be two big, at least short-term, political victories for him on the economic front, which is something he's keen to stress as he goes into next year's election.
All right, as we've been pointing out, though, we've been here before, we've gotten close, and then no cigar in the end. In the past, as recently as October, President Trump has put the kibosh on a deal with China before. Do we know what was the stumbling block last time so that we can kind of anticipate whether that might be an issue this time?
Yeah, so this is slightly different from where we've been before. On October 11th in the Oval Office, President Trump announced this phase one deal with Vice Premier Liu He, China's chief negotiator there. And at the time, he said it would take 3 to 5 weeks to put it down on paper. Well, it's taken longer than that, and that's what we are seeing today. Part of the problem has been that there was a cancellation of a summit in Chile, an APEC summit in the middle of November, at which President Trump and Xi Jinping, the Chinese leader, were expected to sign this deal. So there's been nothing on the calendar to really force a resolution. Well, the thing on the calendar right now is these new tariffs that President Trump was going to put into effect on Sunday, absent a deal. So that has forced the two sides to reach this agreement, it appears, and President Trump to sign off. In some ways, he has a lot more ownership of this deal than past ones that were brought to him. But yes, President Trump is not the most predictable person in the world. There's no doubt that he could still put the kibosh on this. It could be doing that right now in the White House. But all the signals we have, all the body language we have right now is different this time around.
So, Sean, if we do get an announcement out of the White House that we have this deal in principle, what's sort of the time frame where we actually get, the actual signatures of the people in charge onto this and start to move on to what is ostensibly going to be phase two?
That's unclear. At this point, we don't know who is going to be signing the document. We don't think Xi Jinping has flown into town for a ceremony this afternoon. But look, the reality is those are still details that we're chasing right now. There is still going to be some lawyers who are going to be poring over the final version of the text as well. And this could drag on a little bit in terms of some of those final dotting the I's, crossing of the T's kind of things. That's completely normal in terms of any trade negotiation. The bigger point to make, though, is that this is only a phase one deal. It does not address a lot of the major issues that the Trump administration has raised about China or force China to make a lot of the economic reforms, such as addressing industrial subsidies, that the Trump administration wants it to. Those are going to come in later phases. And beyond the immediate question over who's going to sign this phase one deal and when that's going to come, there are big questions hanging over when phase two or whether phase two will ever happen.
Important points to keep in mind here as we await the announcement of a phase one deal. Formal announcement, that is. Bloomberg's Sean Donnan will have it when it comes. Thank you so much, Sean, for joining us from Washington. Now.